Hello and welcome. This is Alchemist X, and this is the weekly update for August 19th. So, the Oct video is on its way. I unexpectedly pulled her newest memento, and so that threw a wrench in my gears, but in a good way. Now I have access to her transformation state, and I have to say I really, really like it. I think she is absolutely amazing. I think everybody should use her in some capacity. It just depends on how much limited stuff you have as far as like how hard she can carry your wind. But we'll save that for another day. This week we have Wang, who is a water global physical damage dealer, and of course accompanying memento. So altogether, I think the global units can be fairly accessible. They're sort of on par with the full enlightenment Genesis units, where you can get their shards via the shop. They do have a limited memento that you have to worry about getting, but otherwise they're not as bad as someone say like Narrow or the limited enlightenment Genesis units. So if you are in need of a strong water physical damage dealer, and you especially like elements of Andex's kit with like crit healing, with a little bit of kind of Lisa Knot-esque CT management and conditional aspects, I think he's pretty solid. Definitely using the mercenary, I didn't run into any glaring issues right off the bat, and that's always a good sign. This is something I want to try to do a little more often, just having anytime there's a new unit. But yeah, with that, let's go ahead and take a look at the content this week. Okay, so as far as content goes, the big thing this week is the new chapter for Global. There's also a new level in the trials for the Elite Gate. So if you're into the kind of levels that just give titles as a reward, then that's something fun to do. It's unlocked by having total combat power. I did the first fire one. I still haven't gotten the total combat power for the second one, but it's always hard to make something a priority when the only reward is a title. That doesn't mean it's not worth doing. It's hard to prioritize it. For other content, there is part 2 of the version 10 celebration, so you can get character soul shards. Mostly normal pool plus global is the standard for that. It's definitely worth doing there. And then there's also global unit soul shards this week, so definitely do those because those are great. In fact, I'm going to be transmuting Eliza, and I was waiting for this quest to come along before I did it, just in case I pulled her before. I'm going to do one pull of the coin banner. Presumably I won't get her, and then I'll transmute her, and then I'll start doing that quest. If you're on the fence about transmuting a global character, waiting till this quest comes back is usually that's like a good time to do it. That could potentially tip the scales. So for the new global chapter, if you are interested in the new unit Wang, then you're going to find the equipment and the free farmable gear located in these levels. And there's a lot of other good milestones too. So even if you don't care about the story, then it's worth running through it just to get all that stuff. This is one of those cases where actually I am kind of interested. Like, kind of wonky looking artwork for Nisha and Wang aside, I kind of am curious about the global. Not as much as Genesis, but, you know, that's hard to beat, I guess. Especially now that the Lost Blue quest is over. I'm so sad. I hope they bring that back in some capacity, even if they are done with the also Sprock. But yeah, that is about it for the content. So let's move on to the banners. Okay, so first of all, there's a couple of free summons, so good times there. There's a paid summon for reliefs. I don't recommend it. I just philosophically am against those. There's a grand summon for global mementos. If you really want the new one, or you're missing like say 4 out of the 6 and you're willing to take a gamble and hope that you don't get Era's memento, then maybe. But I think most people, especially if your paid gems are scarce, like you need to be discretionary with them, I would pass on this. I'd definitely pass on the 2-3 steps because I just think it's a terrible banner style. If you want the global coins, there's a better option for that. If you want to get Wang, the Louis shop is there, and there's also going to be a 9-step for him. I'll discuss the details of that in a moment. Before we do that, though, let's take a look at this Enlightenment banner. So with this one, you can get a lot of shards of one of these units. 375 on step 7, and then 570 on step 9. So if you're in need, maybe you don't have one of them and you want to transmute them, this could be viable. I don't know how many people this would really describe at this point, but say you want like Asuka or Zhang Yi, then that could be worthwhile if you just really want one of those units. Next, there is a 9-step for Li Wang. And this is nice because you can just get him. It makes the 3-step totally pointless because the chances of spending less than the full cost, 22.5k, pretty low. On the other hand, though, I think transmuting is better. So you get 25 shards from the mercenary milestone. Then it's going to cost you 10,000 gems to transmute, buying from the shop. Now, maybe a little more. You might have to do some resets. It really depends on luck. And I've had some bad RNG days, but I've also had really good RNG days. So usually if you are willing to do at the very least the 200 gem resets every day, you should be fine. You would need to have extremely bad luck in order for that to not work out. So you do that. The chances of spending less than 16.5k, which would be the optimal situation if you have 3 discount tickets, is pretty high. And then you could just spend the gems that you would have spent acquiring him and getting more shards via the shop. So I think you could net a higher amount just by doing the transmutation path. But if for whatever reason you hate transmuting, then this is an option as well. I just don't recommend it as much. Next, there's the coin banner. This is good if you have units that you want to raise and you already own them. And if you don't, if you want to use this as a means for acquisition, I don't recommend it as much because it's just sheer RNG. I haven't had good luck on a coin banner in quite some time, and I'm assuming that won't be the case for the 1-step that I do today. Next up is a 9-step featuring Li Wang's new Memento, as well as Nisha's Reds and Morgans. Now, as far as a pool goes, I think this is pretty solid, but it's going to have every Memento in it, so it doesn't mean as much, but you could have worse options as far as the selector goes. But it is expensive and it's reliable. And from what I've heard other people say, Li Wang's is considered good to have, but not like must have or must have it max limit break. But feel free to discuss in the comments if there's anything I missed about that. Red, Morrigan, and Nisha, though, definitely want theirs as well, especially Nisha with the max limit break if you want to be like super hardcore debuffer. And then last and not least is a very interesting banner, especially for those of you who would like to get global mementos, and especially if you have 2 discount tickets. Because if you have 2 discount tickets, you could get at least 1 limited memento for 1,000 gems. Heck, even if you only have 1 for 3,000, that's not too bad. I'm going to pass on it because I've just been having a really bad luck streak, and so I don't trust it. I don't trust myself not to get just more copies of like Siegfried's or Era's. And I'd rather focus on a sure thing, which is getting Eliza shards via the coins. But that's just me. I think for a lot of people, they could benefit from doing, just the first 2 steps of this banner. So yeah, that is it for the banner review today. So now let's move on to a small amount of summoning. Alright, so we'll start with the free summons. And while these are going on, I can give a little update of some stuff that happened in between last weekly update. So because I am pretty invested in Templars, I spent a little bit more than I usually do. And I ended up putting some of those paid gems to use in the Memento reroll banner. And I got, hilariously enough, I got Karis's limited Memento. And then I also got a copy of Eulalia's and then Ox new Memento. So I definitely had to confirm that step just because it's like 1 Genesis for a unit I have and use sometimes, plus one of my favorite units. So call that good there. But that aside from that, that has literally been like the only good luck I've had. If, like the last 9-10 pulls or so, like they've just all been bad. So I'm kind of wondering when this streak is going to end. Curious to see, but the nice thing about this game is that even when you do have just consistently really bad luck, you can still get a lot of things you want with good planning and good resource management. Sometimes not in the most optimal way. Like right now my Zex is like not great. I missed his gate 5 by about 2 shards, so that was kind of a bummer. But he'll get his EX quest eventually, and who knows when I'll happen upon more. So as long as I'm patient, I'll eventually have him built up to a level I would like. Besides, I'm so oversaturated on light, it's not exactly urgent. Okay, where is that coin banner? I seem to have misplaced it. Ah, there it is. Alright, so let's just knock out... Oh, and the reason that I only have one discount ticket is because I used the rest of them on the Zex and Oct Memento banner with, like, absolutely terrible results. So let's see what these results are like. Thus far, as far as track record goes, I have a really bad track record on step 1s of coin banners. Or really just step 1s on banners in general. Hey, well, at least it's a red. I haven't had that be the case in a while, when it's not guaranteed. I'm curious to see who it's going to be. My guess is just a normal pool unit. Speaking of normal pool units, Surprise Lupinus. Alright, who is red gonna be? Oh, well, look at that. Looks like it's Era. Is that 100 shards? Oh, nice. Well, okay. Well, you know what? I can say bad luck streak is over because of the global units I have already, my Era is a little bit under enlightened, so I will definitely take that. Yeah, 188, so that's pretty nice. Cool. So there we go. It's always good to keep an open mind. So now let's close out this weekly update on an unusual note and get one more unit in on the action. There we go. I could also get Nikaya if I wanted, but like I said, light is just oversaturated. Alright, here is one new Eliza. And I have her Memento as well, not the Christmas one, but just the regular one. So yeah, that is it for this week. So hopefully for those of you who are summoning, good luck. And for those of you transmuting Wang, I hope that you have good shop RNG. And I will see you all next time.